Hi everyone, welcome back to LL Sports TV. I am your host Laurie and I'm joined today by Charlene to my left and Gooner to my right. We're going to be talking about Arsenal's, I was going to say impressive win. Scoreline was impressive. Maybe the performance wasn't that great. We'll talk about that. But yeah, Arsenal winning 2-0 today at home to Man United, one of our long-time rivals. And it was exacerbated by the fact that Liverpool also dropped points today away to Newcastle. So I think it's right in saying, Gooner, that was a good night for us. Yeah?
It was an excellent night overall. If you look at it on a piece of paper, can't complain about anything.
Charlene, first half performance, some people are saying, well, actually, I said it as well, so, no cap. First half wasn't great, was it? I mean, to be fair to Man United, I thought they set up well, they pressed us high, and they kind of stifled us a bit, I thought, in the first half. In fact, I thought they may have shaded the first half. What do you think?
I feel like with the way the game kicked off, I feel like we got off to a nice bright start, but Man U just quickly closed in on that and they made it really, really difficult for us. I was actually really surprised with the way that Man U actually played, because I wasn't expecting them to play in that manner. They was pressing us, they was on us, and they just made it so difficult for us. We wasn't able to play the way that we like to play. They made it very, very challenging for us. So, yeah, it was a very difficult first half, I'd say, for us.
It's funny because I predicted before the game that we'd win 3-1, but I said I did think that United would give us, something to think about. I didn't think it would be a blowout. Gooner, that first half, would you agree then that United were pretty good in that first half?
Yeah.
That's the way the manager set them up. They pressed high, they stifled us. I thought they kept Saka and Odegaard pretty quiet in that first half. Yeah?
I know this is a review show, but do you think Man United did as much work, or was it us that weren't kind of doing the penetrativeness in terms of the passing? There was no. Do you remember any line breaking passes from any of our players? I don't really remember much.
Yeah. You know what? You are right to make that point. So
yes, Man United set up a lot better than what we all envisaged before the game started. But I also think we let them kind of just do what they wanted to do.
I'd stop short of saying we let them know. I'll tell you why. Because if you look at recent games of Arsenal, both home and away, we started very fast. And today we tried that, but we weren't able to do that. And I think we should give United credit for the way they set up, because I did notice that they pressed high, didn't give us any time on the ball, and when they did win the ball back, they did try and get forward. It's not like they just dropped deep and just let us do all the attacking. In fact, in the first half, they actually had more possession than we did. So that did surprise me a little bit, that they were that ambitious. But you also are right in saying that despite having more possession than us in the first half, I think the stats registered something like 3 shots on goal for us in the first half, 2 for them. And of the 2 shots that they had, they weren't really threatening in that way. So, I think it was one of them. But come the second half now, we still weren't at our sharpest, I think it's fair to say, but we brightened up a bit, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes you, sort of wonder what the halftime talk was. I know Mikel Arteta is a very passionate manager, so he would have went in on them like, we need a completely different second half. And we did manage to find our rhythm, after a bit of time, we did manage to find a rhythm. We did manage to get a goal as well, which obviously, when you score a goal, it's going to boost your confidence that little bit more. So, it was a completely different second half in comparison to the first half, I'd say. Once we got our rhythm and got going, that's when we started to see,
Although we weren't fluent, all right?
Nah.
I know you were quite critical of the team going forward.
Well, look, I think we have to be very, fair. This team, the levels that they've shown, even in the last 2 games, the levels that they've shown to what they showed in the first and even in the second half, it flattered to deceive. Like we didn't show anything near what we were capable of in terms of the free flowing football, the progressive passing, a lot of the overlapping or underlapping from the fullbacks. I thought the control. You think about it, we had 3 players in the midfield. They had 2. I don't feel like we grabbed the midfield and really controlled it and bullied Man United. I don't think, and Bruno was in there as well. So, I don't think it's a terrible performance from Arsenal. No. I'm very happy with the result. I'm happy with certain aspects of the game, but I don't think it's anything to write home about.
Just while you're on that, Do you feel like if we had Gabriel Magalhaes playing in that centre back, we had Calafiori on the pitch, do you feel like it would have been a different style?
Yeah. You know why I would also say that as well? Did you want to answer quickly?
No, go ahead, man.
I think when you see Gabriel playing from the centre back, he presses high, he wins the ball, nips the ball back, which means that Odegaard doesn't have to come deep, which means that Odegaard can come further forward, which means that, you know, the likes of Partey play the ball out to the right, play the ball out to the left, and we can get onto those kind of like mini counter attacks quite quickly. But when we have to, you know, get Odegaard further back, when we don't have that aggressive player that's going to step into the midfield and try and win the ball off one of the, you know, the attacking players from the opposition, it just changes the way that we play. And obviously, just thinking about it, you know, there's the lack of aggression in the team. It's led by that one person, and when he doesn't play, it just seems so different. So it's not an excuse, more of a reason.
Okay, no, that's a fair point. Let's face it, the game today was decided on set pieces, and we know that Arsenal have been very good on
Set piece FC. Here we go.
I love it.
What do you make of? I mean, I've seen online where some fans, opposition fans, are criticising us, saying we're a glorified Stoke, and I mean it's a bit churlish. But what do you make of that? I mean, me personally, I think a lot of people used to criticise Arsenal and say, yeah, one-trick ponies. They're very predictable. They try to walk the ball in the net, and if that doesn't work, they're bereft of ideas. Now
we got a new idea.
That can score goals with set pieces, and people are criticising. What do you make of that? Let's start with Charlotte. What do you think of
Do you know what? I'm all for it. At the end of the day, you go out to win games. In order to win games, you need to score goals, don't you? And by whatever means, if it means we need to be winning corners and scoring goals in that manner, I am all for it.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, one of the goals went in off Saliba's backside.
there you go. It was literally bent over.
And you know what?
Just rebounded into the
You know
back.
the joke of it? He shamelessly celebrated like he scored a 30-yard. He went knee on the knees, pumping. Listen, man, a goal is a goal.
A goal is a goal.
And,
Is a goal.
you know, as Charlene, you're so right. Like, I think, genuinely speaking, when you look at, you know, the way that Arsenal have played over the years, we've been crying out for different ways. Even, do you know what? Even in this game today, annoyingly, Odegaard trying to walk the ball in the back of the net, Trossard, Havertz, Saka, we had chances to get a shot off, and we're just chopping back and doing.
You know what? That is such a good point, because although people are talking about the set pieces goal, don't get it twisted, people. We actually had 14 shots on goal to United's 5. And when you consider that it was 3-2 in terms of shots on goal for the first half, that means in the second half we had 12 shots on goal. United
and on top of that,
only had 1.
We had how many touches in their box? They had Man United have 6 in ours. So there wasn't, like, as I said, it was just more of a disappointment, because we know we can play so, you know, much better at a high level. But
I will give United credit for that.
No, they
I do
definitely,
think that they did their due diligence.
They stifled us a little bit.
They stifled Saka. That axis we got, which I call the axis of excellence, the Timber, Odegaard and Saka. They paid very careful attention to that. The last year I thought was very good in the first half. He kept Saka relatively quiet. But in the second half, we upped our levels. Still weren't great, but I thought in the second half we were clearly the better team. And I think 2-0 is fair.
And we weren't great, but we were good enough, because we managed to keep the clean sheet and we managed to get the 3 points.
I'm gonna bit of controversy on the show first time. You know, the debut. I do think 1-0 was a fair result.
Really?
I know we had.
No, but United.
You're not rating our set pieces.
I know we had no. Okay, no. But in terms of the set pieces, like, yeah, we had a few. But I do think when you look at open play chances and the way that, you know, I think first half it was very poor from Arsenal.
Well, we had a goal that was offside.
Yeah, well, that doesn't count, does it? But no, so maybe 1-2-0. You know, 1-0. I don't think
2-0 is fair.
I think I keep forgetting the party.
The party missed, the Martinelli.
And like you said,
goal.
Gooner Lee, there was a couple of chances we had in the second half. You called out Trossard and Odegaard. I think it was Havertz as well.
Yeah,
very good chances that on another day, them man should be taking those chances. But anyway, listen, I think we all agree that Arsenal won fair and square today. There was no controversy. There was no like, United, they could have won. No, we won the game. We weren't at our fluent best, but I think we were the deserved winners. Just going to look very quickly forwards now to the Fulham game in wrapping up. As I said earlier, it was a good night for Arsenal because Liverpool dropped points. So that gap that was 9 is now down to 7. And let's face it, you know, there's still 24 games left in the season. We go to Fulham on Sunday, a place where, you know, we've not been at our best in recent years. They've taken points off us last season. How are you feeling about that trip to Fulham on Sunday?
Do you know what it is? Football's about writing scripts, and they've got ESR, they've got Reece Nelson, who obviously can't play, and they've got Iwobi as well. So
Leno.
They've got Leno as well. So
is Willian still there as well?
No, he's
gone back. He's gone back. Yeah. So I think I just don't want them to be part of this story this weekend. They just need to, they're a great team. They've got the guy that likes to oil up his arms every single
Oh yeah, Traore.
yes, and Adama Traore.
Mate, but, he is hench as well.
Listen, he puts me. He makes me look small. So yeah. No, honestly, genuinely speaking, it's going to be a very tough game. I'm going to be a lot more optimistic if we got a fully fit squad, especially having one of Calafiori and or Gabriel back. Hopefully one of them can be back just to shore up that defence a little bit more. So we don't have to kind of do the chopping and changing with the likes of, Tim Bark going to left back and right back, and the likes of Partey going right back. But I am nervous, I'm more nervous about Sunday than today.
You know what? A few people have said that. It's a London derby, and Fulham, the mid-table side, they can blow hot and cold, but they have 5 wins already this season, and they're capable of playing some very good football. And of course, as we said earlier, the likes of Smith Rowe and Reece Nelson, they'll be pumped for this game,
exactly.
man. They'll really want to prove something. So we got to be on it.
100%. They're definitely going to want to prove a point. However, we can't go into these games fearing any opposition, regardless of how previous fixtures have gone. On the back end of what Lee was saying, I do hope and pray that Gabriel's back. Because I feel like if he is back, then he can make a huge difference. Like you explained about him, getting further up the pitch and things like that. So I do hope and pray that Gabriel's back. If not, then we just need to... We need to be.
I'm more pushing for Calafiori to be back
over Gabby. Explain.
Okay, so the reason why is because Calafiori is very good at set pieces, heading defensively and obviously attacking wise. He's got the height, he's got the strength. I just worry about Zinchenko playing against any of the wingers from the likes of Fulham. I know they've got a red card. I can't remember the guy that got sent off against Spurs last game, but. That's nervous. It's nervous kind of because you saw when Ahmad came on today, he had the better of Zinchenko and he was only on for 15, 20 minutes. So I don't want to have another game with him. And Zinchenko's not rubbish. He's definitely not. But it's just the defensive side. He's not a defender. So he's coming in to play a role, doing his job for the team. So if you had to push me, I'm going for Calafiori.
Wait, all right. Let me just pause you right there, yeah? Because if we wanted to change it up a bit, and then we brought back, Gabriel was fit to start, and then we pushed Timber to left back, which means Partey could go right back, then your boy, who you was rooting for today, Jorginho, could play in midfield. Are you not looking at it in that way?
Now you said that, you got my ears tingling, yeah. No, but
the way you was excited.
No, but let me check.
He was capping hard.
No, but let me be real. Like, I'm being genuinely honest. Like, it's not me trying to just say things for controversy. I think we just need to have as strong as possible. We saw Kivior when he's comfortable and gets a run of games.
I thought he played well.
He's comfy. Yeah. He's comfy. Yeah. He can do a job. I just worry more about Zinchenko.
Couldn't we put Kivior in the left back position and Gabby centre back?
Nah, because I feel like we need just normal fullbacks.
Yeah.
Like when we've you know what it is? We've seen it. We've seen it against Bayern Munich. We've seen more issues with the fullbacks being changed than the centre backs.
Yeah.
Saliba's he's a very good commanding centre back who can do a job to kind of help Kivior. Whereas I feel like when you've got the likes of Kivior playing the left centre back, and then you've got Zinchenko, it just makes that whole side a lot weaker. And then there's no overlapping. It just moves a lot, and that's just me being very honest. It's not me trying to. Create.
I think whatever 11, I do think we're going to have to play better than we did today.
Okay,
because we're away from home. I said, Fulham are going to be extremely motivated. But I am confident we can go there and get the win. But listen, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Charlene. Thank you, Gooner Lee. Thank you so much, people, for watching. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. We're out. Take care.